This is Robert of Robert's Active Retirement. How are you? Today I'm going to talk about planning the next stage. Where do you go from here? I'm living in an active adult community, you may know, if you watch my channel at all. And I've been here 8 years, enjoying my retirement. And this week I had something special to happen. I had two friends that have moved to a CCRC. That's a continuing care retirement community. They're different friends, and they kind of disappeared. They moved to the next step. They were active here. All of a sudden, one day they're here. Next day, they're not here. And I heard where they moved to, and I was having lunch with a friend here. He lives here too. We have 2,000 residents here in our active adult community. And he said, let's go see these guys. Now, these are two different people, different times they moved. And so we had lunch, and I said, okay, let's go see them. So we did, unannounced. They didn't know we were coming. So we drive down and pay them a visit. And what I found out was, it was really eye-opening. You're enjoying your life. You moved on to a nice retirement, and you're enjoying it. You're in the middle of it. And you think forward to the next step. What's next? And something a lot of us don't think about too much. So I'm going to share today with you our visit. This was only 2 days ago. And I've thought about it a little bit, and it kind of reflects on, the future, what the future may bring, and, it's something a lot of people don't think about, including me. You're having a good time today, so why think about the future? So, with that in mind, I'll jump right into it. We went down. This is a nice community. It's got 3 different wings. And we went to the front desk. We asked for both of the people and their names and said, okay, let's go see this guy first. Well, they said, one guy's in the bar. In the bar? Like it's at 1:30 in the afternoon. He's in the bar, and the other guy's in his room. Now, I don't know how they knew he was in his room. So we said, let's go see the guy in his room. And we went up to see him. We were heading up there to see him. But we passed by the bar first. So we got in the bar. And sure enough, there he was. He had a table. We talked to him. Now, he said he was 100 years old. My friend said, he's not 100 years old. He's 95. Anyway, his story was he lives in the assisted, I should say, assisted living. Assisted living. That's where you need help with the daily activities. He was a neighbor, and his wife passed away, and then 2 or 3 years later, we heard he's not doing too good. His memory was failing. I actually walked with him one day, and he told me the same story twice. So, I didn't say anything, of course. And I could tell, he's having some problems, cognitive problems. And anyway, I think his kids convinced him to move in this CCRC. He lives in the like I said, the assisted living part. Well, we talked to him. He was, he recognized us. So that's the start. Again, he said he was 100, but I don't think he's like 95, I think. And he was very open with us. I was just shocked. He said, it's not the active adult community, but it's a lot better than a nursing home. And he said he comes to the bar quite a bit. They hang out there. He's got friends. They show up at 4:30, and they may have a drink and socialize and then they go and eat at 5 o'clock. Some people linger on, but some people come back to the bar area. And he was kind of funny. He's got girlfriends, several girlfriends. And, you know, we were kidding him about that, but the lady was at the bar right behind us, and she turned around and joined the conversation. And she said, yeah, oh yeah, he's got a lot of lady friends. And so that was interesting. By the way, she said she was 74. Well, I'm 76, turning 77. So this is, you know, pretty timely information here. She was 74 and had a walker. I'm getting ready to train for my next 5K. So, you know, this was kind of a wake-up call for me, basically. But this person in assisted living told us he moved there mostly for his kids. He said his kids really wanted him to move there. He said his preference would have been to stay in the active adult community. And he wouldn't have moved. He said, in retrospect, he probably should have put up a better fight, or a better argument, I guess, to stay put and not move. That's what he was thinking. So he misses the community where he moved from, the one we're in right this minute. We're walking by in the clubhouse, by the way, through the woods. We've got a lot of woods here, a lot of trails, which is nice. But I remember when I moved here 8 years ago, this person he was the center of attention. Everybody said, I'll just call him Ed. Oh, Ed, have you talked to Ed? You hear what Ed said? You know, now, you know, he's in assisted living, 8 years. I mean, how fast can you go down? Now, he didn't sound like he was going down. I mean, he's got some age on him. I think he probably is 95. So he's had a wonderful life. He's still making the most of it. He's not staying in his room. He's out socializing and talking. His preference is the girlfriends. But good for him. He said he can eat in the dining room, or they have a casual dining. They have menu dining. There are several options. I looked at the menu and it's pretty good. Very nice. You know, you could order all kind of things on the menu, but you pay for them. And they were sort of expensive. I mean, everything's expensive these days, but a little bit cheaper than retail. But so that was his story. So he's doing good. He waved goodbye to us. He was very open. And he was positive. He just said, you know, he knows he's got the money to pay. It's very expensive, but he's got the money. He said, when I pass away, my kids are going to hit the lottery with the money. They have plenty of money. By the way, that's our clubhouse back there. Very nice. So that was him. But again, it's kind of shocking when you see someone move on to the next stage like that. But he's making the most of it. The other person, kind of an interesting story. They said his room number is so-and-so on the second or third floor, gave us a room number. I thought they would call him and say, we're coming. You know, they didn't know we were coming. And they said, oh, he's in his room. We go up and knock on the door. He doesn't come to the door. Nobody there. And the guy I'm with, he actually opened the door and went inside. And the guy was sleeping. He said, what are you doing in my room? What are you doing in my apartment? Now, this guy was in independent living, which is an apartment. It was a very nice apartment. A bedroom, living room, kitchen combination. And I think maybe he had a second bedroom, plus an office. Very nice balcony overlooking a golf course. So very nice. This story is completely different than the other story. This story is he's 90 years old. He's very active. He won one of the sports championships here. Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? And I mean, he is a very sharp guy still. And he moved there to be proactive because he did have some heart issues. And he's married to a much younger wife, like 25 years, I think it is, 24 years older than his wife. He didn't want her to have to take care of him. So he moved there. He's got his own car, his own apartment. He cooks his own meals. He doesn't use their dining room. He could. He doesn't. And he's really active outside the community. He's bowls, he golfs, he volunteers at a delinquent children's home. He buys their supplies once a week. He still meets with people from our community because this community is close by. And after he settled down, because we surprised him, I didn't go in. My buddy went in, and I was like, wow. I wouldn't ever go into anybody's apartment without them. He thought he had locked the door. So the doors are locked. I mean, it was his apartment, but he just forgot to lock the door. Anyway, after that rude awakening and getting inside, we just like talking to anybody here. You know, had a good social visit. Very nice. He said he paid $5,000 per month. He said he calculated he could live until he was 115 years old, and pay. So he's got enough money to afford it. Both people, by the way, said they were, what's the word? Have gratitude or lucky, or lucky is not the word. They just felt gratitude that they were able to afford a place like this they moved to. Squirrels are jumping all over the place today in the woods. This goes to a little pond on our property, our community property. So both of them talked about money. They could afford it. Both of them, two different stories, I should say. So the two different stories are, one moved there because his kids really wanted him to move there. And he was much older, and he had some memory problems. And his wife had passed away. The other one didn't have to move right now. He mentioned his kids too, but he said he didn't want his kids to have to be put in a situation where they had to find him a place. He would rather go ahead and find a place now on his own that he likes, rather than put that burden on them. And he felt he's going to be much better. Now, his younger wife moved into an apartment nearby, just a regular apartment, not on the property. And they meet for dinner like 4 nights a week. He cooks 2 nights, and she cooks 2 nights, or they go out to eat. So that was interesting. And, it just gets you thinking, because to move into an active adult community, you have to be a little proactive. You have to downsize. You actually have, 20, 30 years worth of stuff you have. It's a pretty good job to downsize and move, even though you're moving to what you think is a much better place. And in fact, it did turn out to be a much better place for us and many other people. But you have to actually do it, not just think about it. But thinking for the future, now that I'm in my 70s, you don't live forever. Have you thought about it? Have you thought about what are you going to do if you're in your 60s or 70s? Especially if you've already retired, you're living the retirement life, maybe move to an active adult community or a 55 plus community. And are you going to stay put in the community and get kind of like personal care services? I mean, that's one option. My neighbor did that. Several people have done that. They just stayed right here. An active adult community is not assisted living. It's not even independent living. I mean, you got your own house, and it's a community all by itself for having fun and, of course, being active. And but if you've lived here for some time, I mean, that's an option in care. Now, I wouldn't move here if you're on the borderline of needing assistance. We've heard of a couple of people that said their neighbor was moved in and they were in the 80s, and the kids moved them here because they figured the neighbors would watch out for them. I mean, give me a break. That's not what this is about. The neighbors shouldn't have to look after someone, especially somebody who knew. So that's not what this neighborhood's about. But anyway, that's one option. If you live here, have personal care. Another is to move to a senior apartment, independent living, like that's one guy did. And a lot of people like the CCRC concept. And that, if you're not familiar with that, what concept is, you move to independent living on one big community. They have your independent apartment. And it may be in a big building. Some even have villas. And sometimes they have a lunchroom, or not a lunchroom, a dining room. Dining room with very nice dining that is part of the package. But they have the next step too, which is assisted living, like our second friend was living in. And then they have memory care, which, a lot of people do end up in memory care. We've got several friends that have moved to memory care, very close friends. And sometimes, if there's a couple, the one spouse will move into independent living on site, and the other will need memory care, but they're right there together. So that's something to think about. But anyway, that got me thinking about it, and it was very eye-opening visit. I really enjoyed talking to both of these people and seeing them, and also noted how open they were. They were wide open, talking about their experiences. Hello, and nice day out for a walk. But it also had a little shock value to say, wow, I'm 76. Well, both of these guys were older. One was 90 and one was 95. But the lady at the bar was only 74. Gee, aging affects different people in different ways. Well, I won't ramble. I'll just say, think about the next stage of your life. I will be thinking about that. And I just wanted to share this visit with you. It was kind of an interesting visit to me, and one I'm still thinking about. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Bye.